Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another comic book review video where I say words and you the people listen. It is I, your prophesized gunslinger, your steward of Gondor, your genius billionaire playboy, basic YouTuber philanthropist, SuperCliff. And would you kindly hit that like and subscribe button, for every little bit helps in this YouTube world. Kinginblack, issue number 3, is written by Marvel's Golden Boy, Donny Cates, with the art by Ryanstegman. And our story begins with a monologue from a mysterious character. Ooh, I wonder who this can be. And yes, the reveal as to who this person is dope. Now I got you by the balls. Anticipation. Anyways, and basically our mysterious stranger is commenting about the darkness. Wherever darkness resides, there's light. And an opposite, an equal. And though death, darkness, and emptiness is felt throughout the cosmos, a sense of hope and light is also felt, which of course our mysterious stranger is referring to the sorrows of a single fatherless boy, aka Dylanbrock. And while Susan, Storm, and Blade are fending off the symbiote-controlled forces of Knull, we see that Reed has just finished decrypting a drive in which Rafe had given Eddie back in the Web of Venom Rafe one-shot, except he didn't, for he merely told Eddie about a god of light. But you know what? I digress. Anyways, Reed notes that Dylan's powers are similar to the energy signature emitting from the drive, but before Reed can continue to nerd out, Susan demands reinforcements. Therefore, in response, our heroes from all across the globe ready themselves and they prepare to engage Knull's forces, whilst Reed emphasizes to everyone that they need to protect Dylan since he is now everyone's ace in the hole in freeing everyone and stopping the god of the symbiotes. And it's with that where everyone suits up, including Dylan, who is ready to break some shit. And bada bing bada boom, our heroes charge forth against the hordes of Knull. A Knull-possessed Captain America begins to engage Dylan, but like a badass, Dylan's like, hell no, and he takes away Cap's shield and begins using it to his own benefit. Dylan then unleashes his powers against Cap, freeing Cap from Knull's control, which in turn causes Knull some serious pain. However, because of this action, Knull is able to easily locate Dylan within the streets. But before Knull can grab Dylan, a bolt of lightning strikes down upon Knull, to where we are then met with the arrival of Thor, where the god of thunder introduces himself to Dylan. And once introductions are made, Thor and Dylan begin taking out Knull's forces, freeing those consumed by the symbiotes. Seeing that his forces are beginning to falter, Knull jumps down from his skyscraper base and lands right in front of both Dylan and Thor. Thor mentions to Knull that he sort of remembers back in the day when he half-drunkenly killed one of the symbiote dragons, which of course is a callback to Cates' first Venom issue, where we had that flashback showcasing Thor saving the Vikings from the Grendel symbiote all those years ago. And it's with that where Thor and Knull engage in combat, with Knull wielding the all-black necrosword against Mjolnir. And oh my Lanza, is this fight fierce, as both Knull and Thor are delivering epic blows against one another in amazing Dragon Ball Z fashion. Real talk, I'm getting those Goku vs. Frieza vibes. This fight is getting so intense, eventually Thor says fuck it to this PG rating setting and uses his mighty hammer to knock out Knull's lower jaw. Now though this sort of puts Knull on the defensive, Thor is immediately distracted by the arrival of Knull's symbiotic-controlled Celestials. But before Thor can turn around, our God of Thunder is stabbed through the chest by Knull's necrosword. And literally both myself, whilst reading this section, and apparently Reed Richards, performed an Obi-Wan Kenobi. And as Reed is radioing out to everyone that Knull has just taken out Thor, Iron Man reminds us about his extremis-infected symbiotic dragon, where back in issue 2, since Dylan freed the symbiote from Knull's control, both it and Iron Man have gotten along quite well. To the point where Tony informs Reed that he's going to use the symbiote to override one of the Celestials and turn it into a piece of new armor for Tony. And holy shit, Iron Man dons a Celestial suit of armor and basically Pacific Rims the other Celestial in the face. Meanwhile, after having seriously wounded Thor, Knull begins to take over Dylan, but unbeknownst to Knull, Thor sends out his ravens to find someone, which of course Thor is referring to our mysterious stranger from the beginning, as it's revealed to be none other than motherfucking Norn Rad, aka the Silver Surfer, who is soaring down to Earth in order to combat Knull. Dun dun dun! Kinginblack, issue number 3, was another great issue which continued to showcase Earth's heroes' desperate attempt towards stopping Knull's takeover. This issue is great due to Donny Cates' ability to weave characters from multiple stories/series and bring a sense of connectivity with that of Thor and Donny Cates' Silversurferblack, which if you have read that book, then you all know about Silver Surfer and Knull, and that they both have a history. Now, my major gripes with this issue, in particular, is the fact that this is basically just one giant action-centric issue. It's basically a Michael Bay third act, where there's a butt ton of action. In fact, this entire event is coming off more like a final battle in Kate's Venom saga, rather than a story. Another gripe that I have is the issue's beginning, where a lot of shit happens in regards to the God of Light drive Reed mentioned. Like, okay, I know it doesn't ruin the story overall, but it's clearly an error. Because if you remember, which I did a review on back in the day, back in that Web of Venom one-shot, there was no drive at all. Like, basically, Rafe told Eddie about this God of Light and then just died. So, word of mouth. Now, perhaps Eddie put this information onto a drive of sorts in one of the dozens of King in Black tie-in books or whatever Marvel's been producing these last couple months. But regardless, it doesn't excuse the fact that this is important information, in that it should have been at least shown in the main books, or at least mentioned. Now, I'm aware I'm coming off negative, but in the end, I really did have fun with this issue. It's just that I feel obligated to announce the faults when it comes to these massive scaled Marvel events, so that hopefully someone at Marvel sees this video and is like, oh, maybe like this SuperCliff guy is right, and maybe we should like, I don't know, pay attention with connecting certain things that have already been, established. And, it's just, it's sometimes, it gets a little ridiculous when you have someone like donnycates, like ryanstegman, helming this amazing event, and it's just there's some missing shit, and you're like, why didn't you include this part? It's kind of important. So, but yeah, overall, I really enjoyed this issue. It was fun, and I can't wait for King in Black issue 4. And hopefully we get a little bit more story in the upcoming issues, rather than just kapow action parts. King in Black issue number 3 gets an 8 out of 10. Giggity goo.